stand up and talk. And at the end of the day, somebody pulls the switch and we go to the next issue. So I'm glad the room's full today.
Okay. Anyone else wish to speak? Yeah, Skip.
I have a question to staff. If the recommendation in reference to sexual orientation, could someone tell me what is the difference between if you had sexual orientation and parentheses to where we already have race, color, religion, sex, national origin, handicap, and age? Would it be the same if you said at religion, in parentheses, atheist?
Well, I'm not sure I can answer your question. If it's geared towards the language in the proposed amendment to the personnel policy where we include the parenthetical phrase to include sexual orientation. Sexual orientation, the limited protection under federal law that exists right now for sexual orientation is, as you mentioned, covered under the Price Waterhouse case, which is a gender stereotype, failure to conform to gender norms. That is the limited protection under federal law. As far as adding a parenthetical phrase after religion for atheist, I think an argument can be made that that's another form of religion or the absence of religion. So it would just be a subcategory of religion.
So in reality, you could take basically all the rights we have, and someone could develop and come up with a concept or a labeling that could be added to these protected rights that we already have. Is that correct?
Well, I'm not sure I'm understanding your question.
Well, I think my point is that since everybody has gotten off on this issue of discrimination, that under the protected rights that we presently have, is there any way that an individual, whether or not they're homosexual, bisexual, transgender, in any shape and form or fashion, with a complaint that is not already protected under the present law that the city of Oklahoma City has?
Would they have a cause of action? Is that what you're asking? Or?
Yes, I mean, under the present law that we have, would those individuals with any complaint be protected under the law and the ordinance that the city of Oklahoma City presently have?
The policies that the city has currently protects anyone of any sexual preference, of any race, of any religion, of any of those protected classes, or anything outside of those protected classes from harassment or bullying or discrimination. Our current policies protect our current employees against that.
And so being specific, that means that if an individual is homosexual, if an individual is bisexual, and an individual is transgender, or whatever the individual identifies him or herself to be, those protections are there under the city of Oklahoma City's personnel policy. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And have any of those cases, have that policy been tested at any time in a complaint form or in a court decision?
Well, that's kind of a broad question. As far as the sexual orientation goes, the personnel department has reported that we've had 2 complaints of discrimination or harassment. One of those was not substantiated, and one of those was, and it was addressed under the personnel policies. As far as cause of actions in court, we've had lawsuits alleging sexual harassment. We've had lawsuits alleging race discrimination. We've had one lawsuit that was brought by a transgendered individual alleging sexual harassment, not discrimination based on sexual orientation.
Thank you.
And that, to identify Paula, that's Paula Kelly of the Municipal Counselor's Office.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly.